Today we're working on a project called Piece of Pease. This is a really great seed collection project in partnership with the local landscape architecture firm DWG. So here we're actually going to Pease Elementary School, the oldest elementary school in Texas, which was recently closed. And we're collecting acorns from a very special tree located in that school's schoolyard. This tree is called the Cupcake Tree, and it got its name because every time a student had a birthday, they would go out around the cupcake tree and sit down and all get cupcakes, which I love that story, and I think it's a great name for a tree. It's an absolutely beautiful example of a heritage live oak tree, and it's located right in downtown Austin. So we are collecting seeds from this really great example, and we are going to be germinating them in an effort to provide a sapling to all of the alumni of Pease Elementary School and hopefully staff of Pease Elementary School that are interested in having a sapling from that tree. And now we can also hopefully provide a few to local parks and other areas, and this project, the idea is that this is going to create a much larger momentum of collecting seeds from very, very important trees around our awesome green city and generating their offspring to provide to local parks and landscape architecture firms for local plantings. That way we can really ensure that our local genetics that we know are from here and do really well here can continue to thrive in Austin, Texas. So today, what we're going to be doing is trying to see how viable these acorns that we collected yesterday are. So these acorns have been sitting out for about 24 hours now. And the reason I did that is because it actually rained recently, right before we collected. So sometimes unviable acorns will absorb a bunch of water in the rain, and they'll sink, even though they should be floating if they're not viable. So these have been drying. We collected these off of the tree. So the proper way to collect an acorn is that you gently try to twist it if it's still in its cap, and if it comes out, that means it's good to go. That's a good acorn that's ready to pick up. If it doesn't come out, then do not take that acorn. It's not ready yet. And if it's on the ground, it's probably already bad. Yeah, it's really unfortunate. The only thing that doesn't really hold true for is bur oaks, but don't worry about that. So today we are doing the southern live oak, Quercus virginiana. Now I'm pretty sure these are southern live oaks, but they are pretty skinny for a southern live oak. So southern live oaks generally have quite fat acorns. We have another live oak species here called Quercus fusiformis, or the plateau live oak. And they have really skinny acorns, a lot skinnier than this though. So I do suspect that this is a bit of a hybrid that has some of those plateau genetics in there, and that's probably one of the things that's given it its drought tolerance and made it able to thrive in central Texas so well. So here we have our acorns. They are ready to go, and right here I have my big bucket of water. And now I'm going to scoop these acorns into the water and hopefully not make an enormous mess. Hey, most of them went in the bucket. Oh wow, almost all of them sank, so that's awesome. So the not viable acorns, they are a bit more dried out. So live oaks are actually in the white oak clade for oaks. Oaks generally come in two major groups. There's the white oaks and the red oaks. And now red oaks are more tolerant of having their acorns dried out a little bit. White oaks, which this is, are not. They do not like having their acorns dry out. It generally kills the acorns if they get below like 40% water content, which is pretty high for a seed. We actually call acorns recalcitrant seeds because they're so difficult to store. Here in North America, we don't tend to store our acorns for any longer than 6 months because they lose their viability. There's a few places in Europe where they've actually found ways to store acorns in sawdust, but when they're a little bit drier, and it tends to work pretty well for up to 2 years, but it doesn't really work that well for North American species. So, here we go. They're all in the water. I got my sieve right here, and we're going to take out all the guys that are floating on the top. Oh, awesome. So, Another thing that floats on the top are the beetle larvae that eat the acorns. So you can actually see what's creating the viability issues right here. There's some weevil larvae that are floating as well. All right, so we had 4 non-viable acorns and 2 weevil larvae. That's not too bad. So now we have a big bucket of viable acorns. A big heavy bucket of viable acorns. All right. So, now I get to count these and kind of sort through them. So there is a possibility that a bunch of these have been cracked, and I don't want to send any of these cracked acorns off to the growers, because we want to generate saplings, not empty pots. And that's been how you process acorns. So if you have any more questions on seed processing, or maybe just seed collecting in general, shoot me an email at education@treefolks.org.